Hello trader. In this video, I'm gonna reveal everything how I interpret NFP or non-farm employment change data every month is being released. In fact, this is the most important news events for traders. You can see on the screen, this is my live chats request. Everyone in fact wants to know what will be the results of NFP. Step by step, I'm gonna explain how I look at this NFP data so the next time you can do that too. Before I begin, make sure you smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done yet. This is Forex Wizard from Forex Trading Wizard Academy. Without further delay, let's get started. Okay guys, so first let's look at how everyone looks at news release or NFP data and how this conventional or traditional way in fact doesn't give you the exact direction in the market. And then I will explain step by step how I interpret this data of NFP or any kind of news release. So what are the actual factors involved in predicting this market even before this release? But as a matter of fact, what we have seen that NFP, as you can see, when it is released, the expected non-farm employment change data was 224k, but the actual release is 311k, which is very good for USD, right? So USD should have been bullish. Now at the same time, we saw that unemployment rate is a little bit slightly higher. But in actual, what we have seen that DXY has aggressively bearish. As you can see from that zone, we have seen a big drop on NFP release. And how did this happen? And as you have seen that on gold as well, once the market data released, there was a strong bullish move and this big move happened. And as you have seen my analysis before the NFP release, I was bullish on gold and bearish on DXY. Then what are the factors that I have considered? Okay, before going to that point, let me show you some old data of NFP, how they are relating to actual movement in the market. Okay, so let's look at the 4th of February, previous month's NFP data. What we have seen that in that month, the same way, the expected result was 193k, but the actual result was way more than the expected, which is 517k. And also unemployment rate was in favor of DXY, as well as all the data for USD was better than expected. Now how did is impacted the actual price action? Now you can see on the screen, this is where the DXY started its move, 4th of February. You can see from this zone, this is where the NFP released and the price created a big bullish trend. Okay, and from that date, you can see the price was data was released on NFP, and we saw that on that day there it has started its big bullish move until the whole month. We have seen that DXY was bullish until this NFP. So that data propelled the DXY to the upside. Now let's look at a little bit earlier. Let's look at the previous data in the chart. Now you can see on the screen, this is the 4th of November. Now if you look at 4th of November, this is the November's NFP, where we see that same way the expected was 197k, the release was 261k, unemployment rate a little bit higher than the expected, but overall it is good for USD. But what you have seen that on that day, 4th of November, it in fact has a big breakdown. DXY started a big bearish trend. You can see this is the whole move happened until the reversal of DXY in February. So we have seen this big drop happen from that NFP released. though the data was in favor, we saw that big drop. Now let's go back a bit earlier and then we'll find out how this data in fact affect the pricing. Now let's look at this data on 7th of October. Okay, we saw that on 7th of October, the expectation for non-farm employment change was 248K. Actual was bigger than this, 263K. And also unemployment rate was in favor. It was 3.5%, expected was 3.7%. Very good for USD. But what happened in the actual chart? This is the point of, you can see this is the 7th of October. This is where the NFP released. And we saw that for the whole month, DXY at some point was range bound and later it turned into bearish, though it should have been bullish as both data was extremely in favor of DXY. So from all those data release, what we have learned is that in fact actual data release will not give you exact direction of the market. So now let's come to the point how I use NFP in favor of my trading. How do I use this data? Before I get to the point, let me quickly give you an example or analogy to understand it very, very clearly. Okay, imagine that you want to make money from selling some apple. So what do you need to do? Let's say there is a marketplace, which is the marketplace A, and there is another marketplace, which is the marketplace B. Okay, this is the marketplace B. Now, from this marketplace, you need to buy apple with a lower price, and then you need to go to the marketplace B and sell that apple with a higher price so that you can make profit. That's the goal of this business, right? Now, how do you know exactly when to buy the apple? Because you need to buy with a lower price so that you can sell with a higher price. Now, as you don't know, as a smart trader, what you do, you just wait and observe and see how the big boys are doing. And you saw that suddenly back to back, let's say 5 truck order came to the market in this. Big boys has come, they are buying the apple. Okay, now regardless of what price they are buying, what you saw that they are buying. Now because they are buying and they are big boys, you know that there's something must be important here, because they're buying, price must be in a zone where you can make profit. So what do? You do the same thing. You go there and you start to buy the apple. Okay, now when you come to that market B, you saw that big boys are selling this market apple, and you come and you sell that apple too. That's the whole point of making money, because you exactly don't know when is the high demand for apple and when is the high supply for apple. The only thing you do is you just observe them. When they are buying, you are buying, and you are selling when you are selling. The same analogy is applied in this game of trading. Okay, find out when big boys are buying and when big boys are selling, and you do the same. And as a smart trader, this is what you do. So how do you then know in this market what big boys are doing? Now let me tell you. See, this is the zone where I have posted my analysis on DXY. You remember that, on gold and DXY. Now firstly, look at this price action here. Okay, what do you see in that zone before NFP in 24 to 48 hours? What happened? How did this price action moved in that area? Now if you look at individual candlestick pattern, what you see that there was a resistance level here, and how did this price action moved along the way? You can see that there is a lot of false breakout. Not only that, you have seen how the market has gone up from here to this zone. And if you closely look at this resistance, if you draw this resistance, what do you see? That you see there is a clear false breakout of this candle. Okay, and this is a liquidity grab. Now why do they grabbing liquidity? Because they need to move that price down. When you see this kind of resistance is being broken and the liquidity is being grabbed, that means that they want to move that market down. And what they are doing, you will be doing the same thing. If they want to move that market down, then why should you want to go up? If you go on up, then you need to climb against the gravity. Another thing that you need to look at is, where do you see that there is a gap opening? And with that gap opening, you saw that there is a long wick candle is being created in that direction. That is giving you a high probability that this market is preparing for a drop. Now, if you want to know exact candle to buy and sell, this is where we come to the point. Now let's look at the gold, how the same day did it. In the similar way, looking at gold chart, now you can see that this is 1 hour candle and this is the NFP candle. During the data release, this candle has formed. Right now, before this candle, we had a live session you have seen during the before the London session, and we have seen that the big boys were buying exactly in the same way. How do you know? Look at this price action here. Now if I turn on our TF indicator, we saw that there was a buy alert according to that strategy, that we have specific candle now where we see that the buy alert happening in the market, and this is what we use to find out exact direction in the market. Once you know that how the big boys are doing the changing the market, moving the market, it becomes much easier for you and for us also to predict the market. And this is how we use NFP or any kind of data release. Even before the release, we use the price action pattern to understand how the market is moving, so that we know what exactly might happen during the data release. I sincerely believe that you understood, you found value in this video. If you want to know more about that strategy that we use step by step and access this TF indicator in your chart, then you can find a link in the description area. You can visit the website, join us to become part of this great trading community. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon